So hello Chiver, today I am with a new guest near to Palo Alto. I have the sea just next to me and it's wonderful. I'm sure you know its website, it's Wikihow, and I am with the CEO, Jack Herrick, and he is with me. Hello Jack.
Hi David.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Yeah, me too. I would like to, I have a lot of questions to ask you about what you did, and I would like to know how did you build WikiHow? Can you share me the story and from the start, the idea and struggles you had?
Yeah, well, my life's mission for the last decade has been to build the world's greatest how-to manual. And when I say that, what I really want to build is a how-to manual that is the single best place to learn how to do anything. And that would contain pretty much every topic and contain pretty much and so each topic would be the single highest quality place to go start learning something, and then have it be in multiple languages. And I've had this dream for a long time. I think learning how to do things is one of the killer applications of the internet. One of the things that everyone should be doing more of, and it's one of the best ways that I as a person can kind of give back to the world. So this has been a dream of mine for a long time.
To help people to have the answers of the how.
Yeah, I think. There's the old story about, if you want to feed a man, you give him a fish, right? If you want to help a man for a lifetime, you teach him how to fish. And so how-to is teaching someone how to fish, teaching someone how to tie their shoes, teaching them whatever they want to learn.
Yeah, it's great. And how did you had the idea? Why did you start? Why did you begin to build something?
So it originally started, I used to own a different website called eHow. And eHow it's the same sort of thing, it's a how-to manual, but the business model at eHow is quite different from Wikihow, and it didn't quite work in the way I wanted it to work. I mentioned I wanted to have super high quality stuff and in multiple languages, and the way I was doing it at eHow, I couldn't get there. But I kept trying to figure this out, and I eventually found Wikipedia. And Wikipedia had built a multilingual encyclopedia with extremely high quality, done a fantastic job in that, and I said, wow, this wiki method looks like a bit of magic. I wonder if the wiki method will work for how-to. And so I launched in 2005 a little page and it just said Wikihow, and the Wikihow idea grew from there.
And how did you get your first pages? Because there is a lot of how.
Yeah.
How did you choose the first one? How did you choose the people? Did you wrote the first how? How did you do?
So when we launched Wikihow, we actually launched it on January 15th, 2005, which was on the 4th birthday of Wikipedia. We specifically chose that day to honor Wikipedia and their influence on us. And when we launched it, there was really nothing there. It was really just a page that said, this is Wikihow. This is the vision of Wikihow. Our dream is to build the world's greatest how-to manual. We hope you contribute. And that was really it. That was the whole site on the launch day. So when we launched in 2005, it really was the launch was a dud by any sort of measurement. We got no press. We attracted very few users. There was really nothing to see. The website, it was terrible. If you go back and look in archive.org at the very first version of Wikihow, it's really quite embarrassing. It was embarrassingly bad. But I think the vision was a good vision, and I think a lot of people share the goal.
It was the same title, the same domain?
No, originally it was wiki.ehow.com because it was a side project within eHow initially. But we always had the domain wikihow.com, so we'd go there. But it was like we'd say the language on the introduction was kind of the same language we use today.
Okay, so Wikihow, and why? What did you change to help the project get a success?
So the Wikihow was one of these things that just took a long time to start rolling. In the very early days, what would happen is people would come to the site, and very few people. In the first month, we got 2,000 people visiting the site, period, which is very small by website standards. And I think we had 8 people edit it. But each of those people who edited in that first month, I would go greet them personally and say, hi, my name is Jack. I'm the founder of Wikihow. My goal is to build this fantastic how-to manual that's going to be read by everyone in the world. Thank you for coming here and contributing. And I would do that whether they wrote a very helpful article, or I would do that even if they just added a comma that needed to be there. No matter what they did, I would welcome them. And I kept doing that for months and months and months. And as I did that, some of these people would stick around and then keep contributing. And then they'd welcome more people and sort of and describe to the next person, hey, here's the vision of WikiHow, here's what we're trying to do. And it kind of grew as more people would come, more people would welcome other people, and eventually over many years, it's been 8 years now, it grew to the site it is today.
And it's amazing. So after a few months, I imagine that you earned no money at this time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It lost money for several years, and I was lucky that I was able to self-finance it. And I was running eHow at the time, which was profitable. So I was using the profits from eHow to pay for WikiHow.
Wow.
And then after I sold eHow, I was using the money from the sale of eHow to fund WikiHow.
Great. And I imagine that you had some fears sometimes.
Oh yeah. WikiHow was, it was often embarrassingly bad. For the first couple of years, I'd say embarrassingly bad. The quality of the content was low. We had very few contributors. I would tell people my goal of building this fantastic how-to manual in multiple languages that one day every person on the planet would use, and literally that was ludicrous. It's still a little ludicrous today, considering there's 7 billion people on the planet and we have a long way to go. But it took a lot of vision to see that the goal for WikiHow was actually possible.
Why you didn't quit at this time?
Well, why didn't I quit? One, I think I'm really stubborn. I just like to stick with things. Pretty much things I start, I try and push them as hard as I can possibly push them. I'm really committed, and I'm very committed to the WikiHow vision. So like even when things look bad, it didn't occur to me to quit. I'd always just say, okay, well, how could I make it better? How could I spend a little more time to like figure out another angle to like help us grow faster, or to help our content quality go up, or to attract more users to the site.
Great. And after how many years you started to earn money with your project?
Well, so we had revenue from day one because we put advertising on the site from day one, even though I think we probably made like maybe a nickel or something in the first month. It was a money loser though for the first couple of years. I think we probably didn't break even until maybe the third or maybe fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
something like that. I'd have to go back and look. It took us a while.
It's great because a lot of people try maybe two things and say, "Oh, I tried everything," and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I imagine that in 4 years you tried a lot of things to make how WikiHow works.
Yeah, the vision has always been the same from day one.
Yeah.
The vision of building this great how-to manual has been the same, but we've always tried different techniques to make it work. And I think that's I think anyone who's built a successful startup has to try lots of different things to sort of find the magic formula.
What do you do today that you didn't do at the beginning? Maybe that made your success.
I think we've gotten just a little bit smarter in like every operation of the business. We've gotten a little bit smarter about how to get WikiHow working outside of the English language. We've gotten a little bit smarter about how to increase the quality of our content. We've gotten a little bit smarter about creating content that we know people can learn from very easily. What did we do wrong? It's not so much that we were doing things totally wrong in the beginning. It was more that it just took us time to learn to get the technique right. And I'm very confident that several years from now, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, we're going to learn a whole bunch of new stuff, and we're going to be that much better. Our ability to make a large educational impact is going to be significantly higher down the road. The further we go, the more we learn. Startups are a learning machine, basically. Like a good startup is a group of people that are spending time to like, as much as possible, like figure out what's working, do more of that, figure out what's not working, and stopping that. So to the extent WikiHow works as an organization, as a startup, we become a more and more efficient learning machine.
Great. According to you, what could be the lessons you would like to share to young entrepreneurs to build something? You have something?
Yeah. Well, let's see. So lessons for young entrepreneurs. So I didn't start my first business until I was in my late 20s. So but there's probably some things I did leading up to that were very helpful for me. There's probably a few things I did right in my 20s that would be beneficial to share. One is I was always a huge, I was a bit of a learning machine myself. In my 20s, I was learning as much as I possibly could all the time.
A lot of how.
A lot of how. I was a big rock climber at the time, and when I was a traveling rock climber, I had in my pickup truck that I lived in this little box that I called the knowledge box, and this was kind of pre-web, and so all the information you would get in those days was from books, and I just had a massive stack of books. I called it my knowledge box, and I'd just spend every night I'd finish rock climbing, I'd just sit there and I'd go read my books. I read my books, and like that sort of gave me a base of knowledge, I think, which later helped me as an entrepreneur. That was probably the first thing I did.
You have to have the kind of foundation about learning, a kind of mindset in foundation to build something. That's right.
I think being the sort of person who's always trying to learn how things work, or learn how to become better at anything, and basically learning how to learn and how to unlearn and relearn.
Wow.
Those are the crucial skills I probably gathered in my 20s.
Okay, great.
And I would recommend adopting those skills for anyone. The second thing I think I did right is I was very good at following my passions in my 20s, and I still am today. So I had a job which was a great place to learn early in my career, but I wasn't passionate about it, and I just quit one day and started rock climbing full time for a while. And through rock climbing, I learned a ton of things, and that actually helped me become a better entrepreneur too. And then, later in my late 20s, I followed my passion and became an entrepreneur. So, I think those two things of A, learning, and B, following your passions are probably the two biggest ingredients.
Great. I love that. Okay. I would like to know, because Wikipedia inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do to I don't know how to say that in English. A lot of people are contributing to your website.
Mm-hmm.
According to you, why the people contribute to Wikihow, and how do you do that? Do you have some tips to engage them?
Yeah. So people contribute to Wikihow for lots of reasons. If there's one reason that sort of pulls it all together, I think there's a lot of people who share the vision of what Wikihow's about. A lot of people who are interested in the idea of building this massively useful how-to manual for the whole world. And that's always been kind of our main calling card. So we put that up, and that it either appeals to you. If it does, maybe you contribute. And if it doesn't, well, then you're probably just a reader of Wikihow. So we're very clear with our vision. And second thing we do is we try and build, we really try and be of service to our community and build tools that we think are going to be interesting and engaging for them. The people who love editing, we are probably the best place on the web to do editing in a way and sort of stay in the flow and in the zone. We've built lots of tools which help people, if you love editing, where you can copy edit articles all day long on Wikihow if that's what you want to do. You can patrol recent changes all day long if that's what you want to do. We build tools that we think people who enjoy these activities are really going to love. And we use them ourselves, so we figure out what we like and then try and just keep building more of those tools.
Great. Are you alone, or do you have a co-founder?
When I started Wikihow, so Wikihow was originally part of eHow. And eHow, I was doing that with a guy named Josh Hanna. Wikihow was really, so Josh was there at the beginning, and we had an engineer named Travis who was there at the beginning too. I guess I'm listed as the sole founder of Wikihow, but those guys definitely helped out.
How do you choose what you have to delegate? Because when you are an entrepreneur, you have a lot of things to do. How do you choose what you have to delegate?
Well, the beginning stages of Wikihow, it was really me and this one engineer, Travis. for the first couple of years. And so there was not a lot of delegation that could be done. It was pretty much we were on it all the time. So that's true. Crystal was there at the beginning too. So there's not a lot of delegation that can be done. Now the company is larger. As the company's grown, it's allowed us to hire people, which has allowed me to delegate more. I think the first things that any manager should try and delegate are the things they're not good at. There's plenty of things I was doing that I was not great at. Those are the first things to take off the plate. The second thing to delegate is anything where you think you can see growth opportunities. If you could find people who can help you grow, like that's people you should hire and like figure out paths to move up that way as well.
Okay, great. So you started to delegate some tasks, and how do you manage today your life where you have family, you have children, you have a wife, you have passions like surfing? How do you manage every field, every categories you have in your life? Because you can work today for Wikihow. Why you don't do that, and how do you manage your life today?
So the beauty of having a lot of passions in life is that whatever you're doing, it's really fun. So when I go to work, I'm having a great time. Like the weekdays for me are pretty much as fun as the weekends. I go into work, I'm loving it. When I come home, I love hanging out with my family, and that's great too. And then I'm also very passionate about surfing. I went surfing this morning, and I still like to rock climb as well. And so it's, I'm always trying to balance time between, three things I love: my work, my family, and my sort of surfing and climbing passions. How they balance? Well, it's kind of ironically, I just keep a kind of a traditional setup on them. Like I do most of the work Monday through Friday. I do most of the family activities on the weekends, and surfing and climbing fit in somewhere on the weekends as well. It's kind of a simple-minded way to sort of keep the balance, but it basically works.
Okay, so it is a kind of rule for you to not work the weekend.
Oh, well, I shouldn't say I don't work. I do work on the weekends, but I keep it just a couple hours. And I also, I also see my family in the nighttime. I try to get home every night for dinner and see my family, and I might work after I put the kids to bed. Any entrepreneur ends up working a lot.
Yeah.
So,
So it's interesting to see how do you manage that.
I don't think there's any perfect formula for it.
Yeah.
Some weekends I won't work at all, but usually on a weekend I'll end up doing a couple hours here and there. Okay. And some weekends it may be the whole weekend I might be working, but that's kind of rare.
Okay. Currently, how do you earn money with Wikihow? What is the business model of Wikihow?
Yeah, we have a pretty simple, unrefined business model, I should say, where we haven't put much work into it. We run Google ads basically. You come to the site. There's some advertising. It's almost all from Google. 99% of our advertising is done by Google. And if someone sees the ads, clicks on it, we make a little money. Ironically, for someone who makes his living off of advertising, I personally don't love advertising that much, and I don't love seeing it on websites. So, due to my feelings about it, we enabled it so if users don't want to see advertising, all they need to do is register an account, and the ads disappear. So, if you don't like ads, come to Wikihow and just create an account, and you won't see them again. But since very few users do that, the business model still ends up working.
Okay, and so did you get the emails of the visitors, of the viewers?
Do we get the email address?
Yeah.
If you register an account and we make it optional at that point, if you want to give us your email, we'll take it. And then if you do things like edit on Wikihow, we'll tell you how the articles you've edited are doing. If someone emails you, sends you a message, we'll send a message to you via email, things like that. But for the vast majority of users, no, we have no idea We have no idea what their email address is. Most people come to Wikihow, they want to say like tie their shoes, and they learn how to tie their shoes, and then they're walking down the street. We don't really have much deeper interaction than that with them.
Okay, and uh, do you have a next level for Wikihow? What do you want for the next year or the next 5 years about Wikihow? Do you have a business model who inspire you, a company who did some things that inspire how Wikihow can grow?
Yeah, so our vision, what we want to do is we literally want to help every single person on the planet learn how to do things. And so there's 7 billion people on the planet. Right now there's 2.4 billion people online. Our goal is to reach every single one of those people, to help all of them learn how to do whatever they wanted to learn how to do. And just help them keep on learning new things. So we know we're miles away from that vision, but we're getting a little closer every month. We get a little closer every month.
Okay, so your main goal in doing Wikihow is to help you, the people, the most.
Yeah, really, educational impact is how we measure ourselves.
Okay, great. I love that.
Yeah.
More global question. Do you have some life lessons you would like to share to youth, not only young entrepreneurs, life lessons? Imagine that you can speak to your children in 10 years. Imagine that you can speak to them, what you would like to share to them.
Right. Well, when I tuck my children into bed every night and give them a kiss, I ask them 2 questions. First question I ask is, what did you learn today? And I want to hear what they learned, and the whole reason is, hey, I want to make sure that you're learning something new every day. You're becoming someone who's interested in learning and has an ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And the second question I ask is, how did you challenge yourself?
Do you have some example what they say to you? Funny example.
Well, I guess I'm hoping to hear, today I learned that the way the caterpillar becomes a butterfly is XYZ, but instead I hear, well, today I learned that if I do this in Super Mario Brothers, I can get to the next level really quick. So often, they do a lot of great learning around video games. Is at least my son, who's very passionate about video games. He learns a lot that way. And I'm still hoping to hear the science-based things, but it's what they want to learn is what they're learning.
Yeah, the main thing now is you train him to have the ability to learn from something. Now it's the games, maybe tomorrow it would be another thing, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. I think learning how to learn is probably the key skill for the 21st century. So if I can teach my kids to learn how to learn,
It's great.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how to learn, and what was the second key?
How do they challenge themselves?
Yeah, so we have to challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
When you say challenge, what do you mean?
Well, I think it's easy to go through life and not ever put yourself out there, not ever take risks, not ever really push yourself, make yourself uncomfortable, and break through barriers. Because anytime you're trying to break through a barrier, like there's always risk of failure, there's always risk of embarrassment, there's always risk of getting hurt one way or the other. And you have to learn to challenge yourself too.
Do you have some example for you of challenges you took that helped you a lot? Maybe sometimes you were afraid to do something and you did it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the best lesson for me has been in rock climbing. In my 20s, I spent a couple years as a full-time rock climber. And during that time, I really learned how to challenge myself, because if any climber will tell you, like, to get to the next level, or to climb, especially hard route, if you want to climb something like El Capitan or Half Dome or some of the more magnificent peaks in California, you have to really, really push yourself. It's going to be scary. You're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to, there are going to be times you're going to think you're going to get hurt, or you're going to get stuck on the rock in the middle of the night, or something bad's going to happen. And there's no one who can do those things without pushing themselves well beyond their comfort point. And so for the couple years I was full-time climbing, I basically made it a process of always challenging myself and always pushing myself further than I could. And that has really helped me, that helped me in my climbing career. But then after my climbing career, it's really helped me in my startup career too. Now I know what it feels like to be just on the edge of safety, comfort, risk, and having enough internal fortitude to sort of push through that and get to the other side.
So, how many times in a week did you challenge you currently?
How many times today am I challenging myself? Geez, now I feel like you're my dad. You're like a dad asking me as the kid. I'd like to think I challenge myself every day. Do I really? Well, on my best days I do.
Okay. So you do your best to do something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be a small thing.
It could be a small thing, right? I'm always trying to like figure out something in my business to make it a little better, or something in my personal life to make it a little better, or my family life to make it a little better.
To tweak every time. Yeah, great. I love that. Jack, I have a question for you. It is a serious question, and I would love to know. Yeah, one of my mission is to help people to become unhappy in this life. Do you have advices or strategies to reach that, to become unhappy in this life?
Sure. Well, I would recommend that people should always take the path of least resistance. Whether there's an easy choice or a hard choice, even if the hard one will produce more for you, take the easy one.
Okay. So it's your first advice.
It's my first advice, yeah. Always take the easy path. And never put yourself out there. Never take risks. Never push yourself. Don't try and learn anything new.
Okay, I know everything, so I don't need to learn.
Yeah, you're already a genius. Why would you need to learn anything?
I am a genius.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm a genius, you're a genius, we're all geniuses. We should never try and learn anything.
I can write book, but I don't read book.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, and do you have a last one? If I would like to become the best loser ever.
Don't be ambitious at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, David.